Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 196, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, good morning, Zachy.
Hey, it's been a little while.
It has been a while. You and I always feel it. There's this weird little psychic thing that happens where I think each of us gets a tingle, and it's like, who's going to text the other?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I would say it's typically you who texts first, but it always happens after my spidey sense goes off that it's been too long. So I love that we're on that same wavelength.
Well, and gosh, I mean, so much has been going on, both in the movie world and in the real world, that, you know, it's nice to sort of touch home occasionally and get caught up.
I agree. Well, yeah, this was something I did almost like 2 weeks ago now, but I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure is touring the country right now with Paul Reubens.
Wow.
In attendance. Yeah, and he speaks about the movie afterwards. And I won't go on about it too long, but I did want to bring it up because it's continuing to tour. I think it's going to for the next several weeks. So if people are interested in this, if you are a fan of this movie, highly recommend this experience. I've mentioned it before, but this is one of my top comedies of all time. And I was even on the podcast, Is It Jaws? Which is a really, really fun podcast, and they have the scale of, you know, a movie being Jaws. Is it Jaws 2? Is it Jaws 3? Or is it Jaws 4? And I said I think Pee-wee is Jaws, and
high praise.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what was really fun about it is I saw it at the Wiltern, so it's a concert hall experience. And the movie starts, and, you know, everybody's really excited to be there. Of course, we paid like $50 or something to be there, and everybody's laughing really loudly, but then the moment comes to the "I know you are, but what am I" scene between him and the character Francis, and it's like the audience can't hold it in any longer and just starts quoting the movie with the movie, and it was like a dam burst. And then the rest of the movie, everybody just started quoting the whole movie back to the screen, and it was just so much fun. And there was a moment in particular, for those who know the movie, when Pee-wee is in Texas, and he's talking to someone, he's in a phone booth, and he's like, no, I'll prove it. And then he yells, you know, the stars at night are big and bright. And then all the Texans stop. Yeah, deep in the heart of Texas. And as that moment was approaching, I realized, oh my gosh, this whole theater is going to do this together. And I had a drink in my hand. I was like, oh no, I gotta get ready for this. And I put my drink down and kind of got my hands ready. And then the whole theater burst into that together and then cheered when it was over. And I was like, I didn't even realize that was a bucket list thing for me, but apparently it was, and it just happened.
And you blinked out of existence at that moment.
Yes, my clothes fell like Obi-Wan.
Pile of clothes, yeah.
Yeah, but then it's great because that whole sort of communal thing was really, really just a blast. But then afterwards, Paul Reubens comes up. He's not playing the Pee-wee character, but he just comes out as himself, and he's so funny for people who haven't really seen much of him like this. I mean, he's a pretty quiet, subdued guy. And so he comes out in this nice little suit and sits down. He had a stack of papers, and he's like, I promise I'm not going to keep you here all night. And but he told a ton of really fun stories about the making, and including one of them was one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when he's in the basement trying to explain like all the evidence of, you know, how his bike went missing. And there's a man with a mohawk, right, who like taps someone's shoulder, and Pee-wee just yells at him out of nowhere, "Is there something you can share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?" and it makes no sense, and you're like, what? Who's Amazing Larry? Why does he have a mohawk? And he shared this story that Amazing Larry had a setup, but they cut it from the film. And Warner Brothers was like, well, then you got to take that moment out because it makes no sense. And Paul Reubens was like, it's like a guy who's 50 years old with a rainbow-colored mohawk named Amazing Larry. What's not to love? and so they kept it in. It's been one of my favorite lines for my whole life since I've seen this movie. And he says, Paul Reubens said he watches us watch the movie from the wings of the theater. And he says every time the audience just cracks up at that line, he just kind of chuckles to himself, thinking of that executive, like, like he was right this whole time. So it was fun. It's just him going through the movie with those sorts of things. And then also he sort of gets into the nuts and bolts of the writing, where they were actually starting an entirely different story.
Oh, interesting.
Sort of like a riff on Disney's Pollyanna. But then he was on the Warner Brothers lot, and everybody had a bicycle. And he was wondering, what do you got to do to get a bicycle around here? And so every day he said, you got to actually a little bit whiny about it. And it was just like, no, seriously, what I got to do to get a bicycle around here? I don't get it. And then one day he came back to their bungalow where they were writing the other version of the movie. And there was a bicycle tied to a sign that said bicycle parking for Pee Wee Herman only. It was a gift that I guess the studio had given to him. And he said it just went off in his brain like that. We're writing the wrong movie. This is about a Pee Wee in love with his bicycle. And that's right then he says they tore the paper out of the typewriter and started all over and wrote this movie. And this was what they shot was the first draft. So just lightning in a bottle, and it all worked out. And here we are 35 years later, still a whole crowds of people across the country celebrating the movie. So,
and who knew that Warner Brothers would look at that movie and be like, this guy should direct Batman.
That's the other thing too. I mean, Tim Burton's first movie, Danny Elfman's first movie, Pee Wee. I watching it too, thinking about Tim Burton. It's not like Pee Wee's sensibility and Tim Burton's sensibilities are stepping on one another. It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
And you just look at what came from that, and Tim Burton went off to become an auteur, and Danny Elfman went off to become just a singular voice in film scores, and it's just one of those. It's lightning in a bottle, that movie.
It's funny, speaking of Danny Elfman. Yesterday, I put on Darkman. I was watching some of Darkman with my boys.
Nice.
And at 30 years old this year, by the way, we should do a commentary for that. I would be totally down for that.
I would love to revisit it. I haven't seen it since I was young.
It is so bananas, that movie.
I remember loving it as a kid.
But anyway, the opening credits come up, and my 11-year-old Mikhail, him, he's like, "Is this Danny Elfman?"
No, before the credit.
I'm like, my boy. I kind of just tousled his hair,
And that was like peak Elfman. That was sort of when he did. Of course, he had done Pee Wee, which is really, really awesome score, and then Batman. But then it was after that. I think everybody wanted Batman again, so it was like he did Dick Tracy, Darkman, right? All these movies that were very, very Batman.
The Flash, the TV show, The Flash,
right?
And it all sounded very Elfman-y.
Yes.
Right.
It sounded particularly of that sort of Batman era.
Yeah,
right?
there was a minute there where he was just doing every theme.
Yeah,
that was
and Simpsons, of course.
Simpsons, of course, also. Forget about
that. But so then switching gears a little bit, I watched a movie last night on TV that I hadn't seen in a long time. I caught The Terminal. Steven Spielberg's, I think it was 2004, about Tom Hanks playing an immigrant who gets sort of stuck in JFK because his country collapses and the U.S. doesn't recognize his country. And it's funny because we were talking about it a bit off air, but I was saying that movie gives you a bit of a toothache. It's just so
It
sweet.
Is saccharine.
Very, very saccharine. At the same time, I couldn't stop watching it. So there is something about it that keeps pulling you along.
Well, Brian, is home.
Yes.
Krakozia.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
that is one of his Spielberg's. Just anecdotally, sort of least liked films.
Yeah.
And I just think there's so much to love about it. It's so unabashedly sweet.
Yeah, I started doing a deep dive on it, as I tend to do. I like going on IMDb and reading all the trivia and whatever. And he said it was intentionally. He was trying to make a Frank Capra movie, just like a relentlessly kind movie. And I was like, yeah, I see that. I wouldn't begrudge anybody who doesn't like it for those reasons if it's just too much. But
I do. They hate joy. Why do you hate joy? Why are you that way? What happened in your childhood that led you to that point?
See, that was my memory of it, though, is I almost wasn't even going to watch it. But it had been so long that I wanted to just kind of pop in. And like I said, and then I didn't stop. I just kept going because it does pull you along.
Yes.
But anyway, in doing my deep dive, I went on IMDb, and then they find things that are related to whatever you're looking at. And one of them said something about Steven Spielberg's failed video game. And I was like, what? So I clicked on this, and then apparently in the 90s, Steven Spielberg had a video game, like a PC game. So it was like 3 compact discs. Remember that? When a game was like 5 discs or something, and you had to stick it in your computer.
So was this like a side-scrolling thing where you play as Steven Spielberg and you're punching out studio executives? And...
Oh, I want that game to exist. No. But he's got a raptor, like a pet raptor, sort of like Tails with Sonic.
You jump on him like Yoshi in Mario?
Yoshi, yes. That's better. Oh, no. It was called Steven Spielberg's Director's Chair. And it came out in 1996, and the whole gist of it is you're supposed to have the Hollywood director experience. So he comes up apparently and sort of explains what a director does, and then you have a budget apparently to work with, and like constraints and all sorts of things, and then you get a script and you get to sort of tailor the script. I haven't played it, so I don't entirely understand how this works. But then there's actually footage that you are then given that has different versions. So there's a take where people do it comedically, there's a take where people do it dramatically, there's a take where it's, I don't know, on and on and on. And then you are supposed to choose, you direct, and you choose different angles because it's all shot at different angles. And you put this movie together eventually in editing, and you add music, and you design the movie poster. And, Spielberg is this talking head, I think, that pops up every now and then to guide you through it. So I was like, wow, this sounds really fascinating. And apparently it didn't do very well, and it ended up sort of in bargain bins. But in doing, learning more about it, I learned that the footage was not only directed by Steven Spielberg, but the plot of The Thing is a prisoner played by Quentin Tarantino, post Pulp Fiction.
Post-Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and interacting with this woman, I think it might be his girlfriend, played by Jennifer Aniston.
Post-Friends.
Yeah, or during Friends.
During mid-Friends.
Yeah, so at one point, Steven Spielberg directed Quentin Tarantino and Jennifer Aniston in this raw footage that's all, has all these different permutations and contexts and whatever for a video game, so some kid can put it together into some sort of crazy slapdash, whatever existence. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That's just super odd. It's odd to me that, you especially being such a big Steven Spielberg fan, the fact that you found out about it in like an IMDb comment section.
Yeah, at like 1:30 a.m. while I was watching The Terminal on TNT.
You know what would be funny, Brian? Is like nobody bought this thing. Wouldn't it be funny if the whole point is you have to like put together the perfect movie, and then Spielberg shows it's like The Last Starfighter.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And you're the person who accepts the mantle.
Yeah, you're supposed to. This was the way of deciding who directed like Jurassic Park 3, but nobody bought the game, so they just gave it to Joe Johnston.
Oh, that's hilarious. Or it's just taken all these years, and I buy it off of eBay, and then you finally make the perfect version of this. Yeah, and he's like, it's taken all these years. I knew it'd take a while. I didn't think it'd take this long, but yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. That'd be a great short film.
That would be.
Yeah.
Well, we just put that out into the universe. So
if someone makes it, just make us EPs, and
yeah, exactly.
We'll take a step back and let you run with it.
Well, I saw. I'm sure like the news lately has been really kind of overwhelming and oppressive. Obviously, people are petrified of the COVID-19 outbreak and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need a little escapism, so I was like, hey, let's watch Outbreak.
Kids, gather around.
So yeah, me and my oldest, we watched Outbreak, and I have not seen this movie since 1995.
Same, yeah. When it came out on video, I think.
Yeah, I watched it in the cheap show. It was in like downtown Glen Ellen or something like that. Me and my brother, and this is a good ass movie, man.
Really? Oh, I should check it out then.
It's it's like, and this is such a cliche at this point, Brian, but they don't make them like this anymore.
Sure.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what you're getting. It's not, the Andromeda Strain or something like that. It's escapism, right?
Sure. So but like big stars, right? Like Dustin Hoffman and
great cast.
Yeah, Rene Russo and
Kevin Spacey, like in one of his first big roles.
Wow.
We don't talk about him anymore, though.
Right. Right.
Donald Sutherland as Johnny Mustache Twirler to use your vernacular. But
Does
like,
anyone say that humans are the virus?
Yeah, you know.
Does anyone do that? Maybe it's time.
That's basically that's like the only cliche we don't check off the box, you know.
Right.
But I mean, you don't see Dustin Hoffman in these kind of roles, like even back then.
Yeah.
This is a rare thing. He's very good in it. But Wolfgang Peterson directed it. You know, he did In the Line of Fire.
Wow, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was watching. I was like, we had just watched The Fugitive the day before, rewatched, I should say. And I'm watching this. I was like, man, this sounds like The Fugitive. And then, wouldn't you know, James Newton Howard did the music.
Oh, funny.
It's like 2 years after. But on the one hand, it's terrifying, right? Because it does so eerily mirror, some of the headlines we're hearing. And, you've got the scene where dude's like sick in a movie theater and then you like follow the bacteria as it goes into people's mouths and stuff, right? But it is escapism in that, like, well, the good guys win and it's all fine at the end. So I'm like, given the choice between this and Contagion.
Right.
This is like Mary
That's the one I
Poppins
remember.
compared to Contagion.
Yeah. Yeah, that ending where it shows how it all spreads.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Wait, now is this this is based on a book, right?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
So there was a movie being developed at the time called Crisis in the Hot Zone.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
That's a true story, and that was supposed to star Robert Redford and Jodie Foster.
Okay.
And Outbreak went into production at the same time, so this would have been another Deep Impact Armageddon type situation.
Wow, yeah, or Dante's Peak, Volcano.
Exactly.
Armageddon.
The two Robin Hoods,
Yeah, or you said, yeah. Yeah, that was like a whole, I mean, that still happens sometimes, but in the 90s, it was
happening a lot. There were the two Wyatt Earp movies.
There was no shame. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one was, I believe, already in production, and that one fell apart. And it didn't end up getting made until like right now.
What do you mean?
There was like a TV miniseries based on Crisis in the Hot Zone.
Oh.
Which I want to say starred. I should look this up. It starred Juliana Margulies, I think. And it was on like National Geographic or something like that. I should look this up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a book, and
I do remember. I can even picture the cover. I remember that when that was a big thing.
Yes. So okay, here we go. So it was wow. Look at this. It was on National Geographic. Wow. It aired about a year ago, May of 19. Juliana Margulies, Topher Grace, James Darcy. So like semi well known like TV actors. I don't mean to say it that way. That sounds bad. But,
Good ones. Yeah. Good
TV actors. And it was a 6-episode miniseries. So that's based on a true story. I have not seen that.
Okay.
But if you don't have Dustin Hoffman in a helicopter poised in front of a bomber that's about to drop a bomb on an American city, and Dustin Hoffman's like, do you believe this is the right thing to do? If you don't have that, like, what's the point?
What are we doing?
Why are we doing any of this?
Yeah.
So I would recommend Outbreak. I think it truly is. That was my thought, honestly. I was like, man, we just don't see those kinds of movies anymore. And I don't even know what I mean by those kinds.
I know what you mean too, because I feel like I was watching something the other day and having that very thought, and it's like escaping me at the moment. But
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just, I mean, big stars, movies that, have perhaps big plots but aren't about, I'm trying not to say this because I don't want to sound snarky because I don't mean it entirely. But I was going to say superpowers, basically. But like just a real adult drama or action.
Right. I would say like well-known actors plus a premise.
Yeah. Is that so sad? If we could hear ourselves talking about the future of movies and it's like, stars and a premise, we just don't have that anymore. That sounds so depressing. But it's true. Those are the things that are going to sort of the streamers.
And I say premise as opposed to stars plus IP. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. No. That's actually, yes.
Right?
That's a good clarification. And I entirely understand what you're saying.
Like, I mean, I was talking about this with my brother yesterday, where I was like, there was specifically the 90s, there was that whole subgenre of like, maniacs taunting the hero over the phone.
Yes, and I loved it too. I ate it
right?
up.
Because we talked about Speed, obviously, this past year, but
Mm-hmm.
like In the Line of Fire and Blown Away, and there's that whole
Phone booth. And
yeah, the whole like you think you can get me, and it's like
We're not so
we have to
different, you and I,
stop
a lot
this
of that.
guy.
yeah,
I miss that. I miss it, Brian.
I do too. But yeah, I think a lot of these things are getting turned into the limited series, right? Or HBO series,
Yeah.
and then they are lauded usually. The performances are good. People get good reviews. Actually, it's funny too. This is sort of another thing that I'm noticing less and less. But when you brought up that was a National Geographic miniseries, I just watched. It was called Manhunt Unabomber.
Yes, you talked about this, right? In a previous
Yeah, and that was a Discovery
Okay.
miniseries. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's you didn't imagine that Discovery had like creative executives per se, right?
Yeah.
To come up with fiction.
Right.
And so it's and then they did a second season of that's about the Richard Jewell thing, but apparently that's only going to be on Spectrum, which is like, so if you don't have Spectrum cable, you can't even watch it. So it's
Oh,
just
wow.
kind of fascinating. All these different outlets taking a stab at it, right?
And this is something I've talked about in my classes, and maybe I've even talked about it here. But like, if you're a content creator, there has never been a better time to find a venue for your work.
Yeah, so many outlets. Yeah.
However, that's the trade-off, because there's probably never been a worse time to actually have people watch your work,
Yeah.
because there's just so much competition. Like you and I, we could just make up a TV show and tell people like, oh yeah, we created this show and it airs on this, and just make up a cable station.
Yeah, on like Glooby.
Yeah.
Or-
there you go. That sounds vaguely true-ish.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of Quibi, right? And then Tubi
Yes.
was a thing. My
Glooby.
parents were trying to watch something this weekend. They couldn't find it streaming. And they're like, is this streaming? Like, can you help us find this? And I saw it was on something called Tubi. I was like, guys, you're just not going to watch it this weekend.
I don't know. I don't know. This is we're turning into like Waldorf and Statler.
I know. But it's cool that it's out there. I mean, if you can, that's the trick, getting people to it, right? And like the Manhunt, I talked about it already, but I really enjoyed that series a lot. And it took me like 3 or 4 years to get to it because I didn't even know it was on. Like, I didn't know it was on Discovery, and I saw it on Netflix eventually. So
And so this came about as a result of you systematically making an attempt to watch every single thing on Netflix.
yes,
And you just got there eventually.
yeah. No, actually, I saw it offhandedly referenced in an article about a whole other movie or something.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just
So this
random.
wasn't
I found
like
it.
you're like, I'm done with Love is Blind. What's next?
Now, are you a Netflix troller? Do you? I don't really do that, to be honest. I have to be told to find something.
That's how. Well, yeah, I think Netflix. The very problem with Netflix is really the problem with just sort of streaming in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the upside. There are plenty of upsides. Everything is there at your disposal almost.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is we are imprisoned by the paradox of choice.
Right?
There's just too much stuff,
Yeah.
And you end up like I've had this happen multiple times where I'm like, what should I watch? Forget Netflix. In my Vudu library, which at this point numbers in 1,000+ movies. Mm-hmm. I'll like watch like 5 trailers and then I'll just get on my phone.
I actually had that very thing happen this past weekend where I had an evening and I wanted to watch something and I just couldn't settle on anything. I ended up I think I just went to my phone.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
It's so weird.
So that's where we're at in 2020.
Yeah.
So another movie I saw, and this is, reviewing movies for the paper, one of the most fun parts of that is that they ask me to review stuff that I wouldn't otherwise be bothered to check out. Mm-hmm. And so stuff just comes on my radar. And this is one I know you will like it, and I think people listening will enjoy it. It's called Extraordinary.
Okay.
And this is like, imagine that you have Ghostbusters and Shaun of the Dead and like Waking Ned Devine. And you smush those all
That's
together.
not what I expected as the last one.
You smush those all together and you get this movie. It's about this woman in Ireland who can see and communicate with ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up in this situation where this guy is being like haunted by his dead wife.
Okay.
But she's not like haunting. She's like, she leaves him messages like, make sure you pay your taxes and stuff like that. And it's this quirky thing. And then there's this guy. He's this singer from the 70s who was real big in the United States, but he's like a one-hit wonder. So he's moved to Ireland because it's like a tax shelter. And he's played by Will Forte.
I love Will Forte.
He's so good. So he's kind of like looking like Sonny Bono from the 70s. And he wants to be a success again. So instead of making like music and working to get his work out there, he makes a deal with like a demon. And the demon's like, if you sacrifice a virgin for me, I'll make you a big success.
It just keeps spiraling.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically, that's the plot. This Will Forte is trying to become a success by sacrificing a demon, and that's where this woman who can see spirits gets involved. And it's so good. This movie.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Great.
Absolutely loved it. I just had a big smile on my face. It's so funny. Like I was sitting watching it on my tablet, with my AirPods in, and I'm, my wife's doing her own thing, and I'm just like, periodically, I just bust out laughing. So it's a lot of fun. And here's the cool thing: I just genuinely enjoyed it. I wrote the review like 3 weeks ago or something, and then I got an email this past week from the studio, and they're like, we want to use one of your quotes to promote the movie.
That's great, and it's great that was something that you. It's not like some Avengers movie where you're like, action-packed roller coaster, just trying to get on the poster or something that like you just genuinely enjoyed this movie, wrote something nice about it, and then they came upon that. That's great.
Yeah. So very cool.
Nice. How are they going to use it?
My quote was something like this: it deserves to find an audience in this world or the next.
It's nice.
I think there was more, but that was the piece that they pulled, and so I'm like, hey, I hope people do watch it.
Yeah. Is it in a trailer, or I'm curious? This is almost like a little peek behind the curtain, for how these things happen and where they end up. So.
This has been one of my little bucket list things. I want to make it into a TV ad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know how my quote will be used, but they've asked to use it, so I don't know in what capacity.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it's called Extraordinary, 2 words, and that's kind of the joke.
Okay.
So do you for sure, Brian? I know you'll like it, but also just people listening, check it out. It's a fun little surprise before sort of summer movie bombast takes over.
Great.
It's funny. I was telling you, like, I remember watching Outbreak, and it was at this theater. And of course, in our last episode, we were having that discussion about remembering the movie theater that you saw movies in. And I was telling you, I said this to my wife. She thought I was crazy. And then I mentioned it to you. You're like, oh, I remember. And it didn't even occur to me that we would get the kind of reaction that we've gotten to that conversation specifically.
Yep, I agree.
It's like...
So many people
reaching out to us, and no, it's absolutely. I like this. We got a comment left on our last episode. This is by David Oler, who David does our every once in a while when we ask. He's nice enough to do little Photoshop simulations for like when we do movie commentaries.
So great, yeah.
It's like he's doing the Lord's work. He's not doing the Lord's work. It's our work, but. It's not even close to the Lord's work, but it's good work.
But it's pretty great.
So you have to comment on our Facebook page. He says, I swear every episode I feel like I'm right there with you and on the exact same level as you guys. My fiance literally asked me yesterday, do you remember the experience of every movie you've seen in theaters? And I absolutely 100% do. It's bizarre how big of an impact the theatrical experience has on some of us, and every movie you guys mentioned on the show I had a very distinct memory of as well. And then he goes on to describe, watching Back to the Future in the theater. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't get to see Back to the Future during its original run, but I did get to watch it with you and Sean about 10 years ago now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that.
I flew down. And then I've since seen it again. They did like a Fathom event.
Yes. I think I might have gone to that too. Yeah.
Maybe like 5 years later. Yeah.
But I like him, I remember in 1985 seeing it. Actually, because of this, I told my parents. I asked if they remembered it. Because I said, I remember the theater. I remember standing in line. I remember looking up at the poster where it was because we had to wait to get into the theater. And I mean, I think that's why that poster's had a hold on me my whole life. It's just really, it was sort of magic introduced to me at a young age. And yeah, it's just, it's partially, I think, the life things that are going on that help make an imprint. You know, because
Sure.
I do remember the context of those sorts of days. But I also think the movies themselves, there's something, you know, for people who are in specific ways enamored with films and filmmaking, there's something about each of these movies that left a little bit of an impression on us that we kind of remember, whether it's a score we never forgot or a moment in the movie or how did they do that, you know, or just recently, actually, my collection of my friends, we watch movies on a Sunday night now. It used to be we were going through the AFI 100, and then we watched Yankee Doodle Dandy, and we're like, let's pick another list.
You gave up.
And so, but
That movie broke you. Is that with Jimmy Cagney?
actually, yes. That wasn't the movie that broke us, because we did watch it, but the movie that broke us was Ben-Hur.
Really? That's
Yeah, and I was the only one that watched it. And everyone
I would
was
have
like,
watched it with you, Brian.
Yeah, well, but so we watched The Matrix this
Okay.
past weekend
In
because
lieu of Ben-Hur.
no, well, for them, yeah.
Well, that too is a tale of the Christ, so it works.
Actually, very good point. But it was one person, I can't remember if it was more, but one person definitely had never seen it before. And so it was really cool to watch it with them. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But we all, when it was over, we were trying to explain to her, we all remember seeing this movie for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it with my brother, and again, I could go on and on and on. But every one of us had a story about seeing that movie in the theater, and I was like, oh yeah, something about it. I mean, that one in particular because it was so special and different. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was so cool. I loved reading all those comments and hearing everybody's stories.
This is another message I got from Marshall on Twitter, and he says, being able to remember the theater where you saw most movies in your life, it's absolutely a thing. I thought I was alone. Mm-hmm. Brian said it makes an imprint, and that resonated so much to me because it's true. I can remember so many circumstances in my life regarding seeing X film. That was such an awesome tangent to bring up. I have so many questions I'd love to hear you guys talk about regarding film. Great episode this week. So that's a funny, because that obviously that was not on our agenda. That was just a stupid thing that popped into my head. So it's nice to just go like, oh my gosh, okay, I guess we did hit a nerve.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, and I love that this sort of forum, to talk about these things, because these are obviously, you and I, these are things that we experience, but I would have never even thought to put it into a fully formed thought experience, or to write it down as something that is a phenomenon or whatever. And then it's so awesome, the people that listen that share the same thing. Like, it really made this whole sort of thing made it feel like, oh wow, this is really like kind of a community, and I really am grateful for it.
We really are, and we're gonna ponder how grateful we are while y'all listen to this commercial.
You're so good at this.
And we're back, and before we get to headlines, we do have a couple new trailers that I wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about how we're turning into Waldorf and Statler, and I feel like we should explain that. Those are the two old guys on the Muppets.
Yeah, sit in the balcony and
that's a reference that people may not get. But I feel like there's no better indication of that, at least for me, than in the past week. I'm like, oh, it's the new trailer for the Tom Hanks World War II submarine movie that's coming out this summer.
That's hilarious. Yes.
So we got this. I didn't actually know about this. It's called The Greyhound. Which
yeah. Actually, wait, just to add to the sentiment you just said, it's funny too because now I just pulled up the IMDb page so I could sort of have it all in front of me, and I saw Elizabeth Shue is in it. I was like, Elizabeth Shue.
That's right.
And it's probably your kids are probably like, yeah, the old lady.
That old lady.
And I'm like, no, Elizabeth Shue. Like my crush.
She was all of our crush in like 1984. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So this has a not great title.
Yes, because when you put it on the document to talk about, I had seen this trailer. like a couple days ago, and I was like, what the heck is the Greyhound? And I Googled it, and it's not even one of the first several things that comes up. So,
you'd
it's a
think
little
the
forgettable.
bus probably is like number one.
Yeah, or just the animal. Yeah.
So it's actually not the Greyhound, it's Greyhound. Sorry.
Greyhound, yes.
That's such a
cleaner.
grandpa move right there.
The Greyhound.
The Greyhound, you know.
Yeah.
The Saving Private Ryan, that movie. Anyway, so this is directed by Aaron Schneider, but more interestingly, it has a screenplay by one Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that was to my surprise.
So
What else has he written besides That Thing You Do?
So here's something funny. I was about to be like one Thomas J. Hanks, and then I was like, wait, is that his actual name? And then I look it up, and yeah, Thomas Jeffrey Hanks. I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, has he ever written a screenplay before?
I know That Thing You Do for certain.
He wrote that and directed it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking him up. What do we got?
We're looking up this Tom Hanks fella.
Yeah, Thomas Jenks. Oh, he's got 7 credits. Okay, so That Thing You Do, that was the first thing. Then From the Earth to the Moon, that miniseries.
Oh, so he probably wrote
like 4 episodes. He wrote 1 episode of Band of Brothers. Oh, he wrote Larry Crown. Remember that?
No, and I don't think he wants you to either.
Yeah, that was another sort of.
Did he direct that one too?
He did, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he told a story about somebody like being like, yeah, I didn't like Larry Crown, and he like gave them like $10.
Oh, really?
Did you hear about that?
No, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, it seems to be it.
So you definitely, I mean, we at this point we know Tom Hanks's fancies,
Oh, absolutely. Space and World War II.
right?
Yeah.
He really is our collective grandpa at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm not kidding. I was like, sign me up. I without even seeing the trailer, I was like, Tom Hanks World War II submarine movie. I'm excited.
That alone, I'm interested. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's play some of the audio from the trailer here.
Air escort to Greyhound. You will now be out of range of air cover for the next 5 days. Safe travels to England. How many crossings does this make?
This was my first.
I got some.
Most likely a U-boat.
He's trying to slip under us! Fire!
We have a kill.
Distress rockets, sir.
We have hits directly on the convoy.
The Wolfpack's hunting us.
U-boat starboard bound!
So this one comes out June 12th.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem like an odd time for a movie like this, doesn't it?
I thought that too. Yeah, the summer. I mean, Dunkirk is the only other example
That
I
was
can
like
think of.
August, though.
Was it?
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time too, it didn't matter what that movie was about. That was Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
You know, and so Tom Hanks is kind of interesting lately, right? Because when I saw this, I mean, he used to be. Okay, let me back up. He still is. He's beloved worldwide, but he has had his last few movies have not been worldwide sensations, and it's not that he's losing any ground with his fans or America or what the world that loves him, but he's been choosing different sorts of things than you'd expect.
Sure.
Right? I mean, he had Cloud Atlas, and he had The Post most recently, I guess.
Yes.
Or Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, of course, which did okay, but wasn't, a huge thing.
No.
What was that other one I'm trying to think of? He had that one where it was like where he's bringing the internet or something.
Oh, The Circle?
The Circle. Yeah, something. There was one movie I watched on an airplane.
Are you thinking of the one with Emma Thompson?
A Hologram for the King.
Emma Watson. Sorry, Emma Thompson. So there was The Circle with Emma Watson, where he's like evil Steve Jobs.
Yes, and then this is
Hologram for the King. That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Tom Tykwer, interesting.
That's
directed that. The guy who did Run Lola Run.
And Cloud Atlas.
Oh yes, right, with the Wachowski.
That's right.
Siblings. Yeah. So that's interesting. But you know what I mean? Like he's been I don't think the masses have seen those films, right?
Well, he's just. I mean, this is the lifespan of any superstar, right?
Yeah, but yeah, and it's not that they were huge movies either, though, that didn't connect. Like, I think it's kind of cool that he's like, I want to make this movie,
Right.
you know? But anyway, so it makes me wonder then, with this, I imagine everyone expecting this to be like, oh, no, this is Tom Hanks. This is mass market Tom Hanks making a war picture. I'm very curious how this does.
It feels misplaced in the middle of summer.
I agree. I feel like this feels like an October.
Yes, and,
Or like
and that's
that,
a
yeah.
weird thing because about 20 years ago this would have been a midsummer movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's this is star plus premise, and we don't do that anymore.
Kinda, but we haven't even talked about the premise necessarily. But it looks like Jaws with submarines, right?
So
And-
it's based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm fascinated by the fact that this was the movie Tom Hanks wanted to write.
How so?
He's like, I'm going to write this movie and I'm going to find somebody to direct it and we're going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's that, he my point is this, right? He writes infrequently enough that him writing is a thing,
I see. Yeah.
right? It's different than like Stallone because every movie he does has a by Sylvester Stallone credit.
Yes, I see.
So that's just his thing. But
Right.
Tom Hanks makes a conscious choice
Mm-hmm.
to act and write versus just acting, which he does more of.
Right.
So that intrigues me. What was it about this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This feels like a movie I should love. So I really hope it's good.
I'm hoping. I've not heard of this director.
Yeah, I haven't either. And you wonder what, I mean, if this is Tom Hanks writing, starring, I mean, obviously this is something he is shepherding. So I wonder what the relationship is.
That's interesting. He started as a cinematographer on the movie, Kiss the Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then Simon Birch, the legendary Simon Birch.
The legendary.
That's one of those like legendarily bad movies from the late 90s.
Yes, I remember. I don't think I ever saw it.
I didn't see it, but we all saw that trailer, and I think everyone who saw that trailer had the same reaction. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Right?
Is that the one with Sharon Stone?
As like the mom?
Yeah.
No, Ashley Judd.
Okay.
It's Ashley Judd and Oliver Platt.
I see. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
It was directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who did he did Ghost Rider, but before that he did Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that's interesting. Anyway. So Greyhound. Now the reason that I say Greyhound might have trouble in the summer is because summer tends now to be dominated by movies like this next one, which just dropped its final trailer mere hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hot off the presses. We're covering the news as it breaks, and this is the final trailer for Black Widow, which I think to me the most news that was broken with this trailer is the date at the end.
Oh. What?
In that Disney is saying, yeah, no, we're not moving the date.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
All right.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, absolutely. It's early. That's why.
Yes. So let's play some of the audio from this and we'll talk about it.
Before I was an Avenger, I made mistakes. And a lot of enemies.
His call sign's Taskmaster. He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated, fully conscious, but no choices.
I should have come back for you.
How many others are there? Enough.
All right, so this one opens 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like just under 2 months out.
Wow.
Now, I don't know about you, but I'm like I'll be watching this, but I'm not really feeling it.
I'm kind of happy to hear you say that because I was feeling the same thing. And you know what I liked about this trailer actually was it was super coherent in explaining what this movie was going to be about. Like it kind of gives you a setup, it gives you what the stakes are, and then it's like, and this is what they're going to do, and this is who her team is. And I was like, cool, I appreciate that. Like now I kind of know what I'm in for. And it's, oh gosh, it's proficient.
There you go.
Right? Like, I mean, it looks action packed. It just doesn't look like anything I haven't seen before. So it's hard for me to feel like, well, I've got to see that now. But I was actually thinking about this before I got on the air because I was trying to think of what I was going to say. And what I was going to say is I really like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And
Go on.
And I eat it almost every morning. And just because I have it every morning, I don't think about it at night that I can't wait to have my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. But when it's the morning and I have it, I'm happy.
I don't know what I can say after that. So
I just feel like I'm probably not even, the week it's coming out, I'm not even going to be looking forward to it necessarily.
Yeah.
But when I watch it, I bet it's going to be action packed and I'm going to laugh. And there's going to be a couple moments where I go, ooh, cool. And then I'll move on. And it's not even a negative. It's just sort of, let the Cinnamon Toast Crunch continue.
That's actually the tagline for this movie. I don't know. That's also what Disney revealed. I think you're right. First of all, I think you sum up sort of why the MCU movies tend to play the way they do. However, I think what struck me about this, and it's unlike any other MCU film in the past, is the appeal has always been, here's one more thing that's carrying the story forward. So there's always that. There's always that sense of like, even if I don't like it, I'm going to move forward a little bit.
Right.
Right. And like even Captain Marvel, which was set in the past, was still predicated on, we're going to learn all about her so that in Infinity War or
right.
Endgame, right?
Right.
With this, the appeal is singularly, do you want to see Scarlett Johansson play Natasha again? Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I don't mind it.
Right.
But honestly, I've been fine without a Black Widow movie all this time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I've been, holding out for it.
Yeah, but obviously I like her as the character, and I like that character in the movies. I just feel, and I know I'm sort of parroting things that have been said before, but I know that they use the same team for the action.
Right.
Right? And so it's been brought up that that's why the action can feel somewhat similar. And when you have over 20 movies that are released so closely together, and the action just feels a little similar, not that it's not impressive because it is.
Right.
But it's like, that's why I think Guardians of the Galaxy is so exciting, right? Because it feels very, very different. And I just wish there was a little bit, I wish I felt like I was going to walk into something I hadn't seen before, but I know that's probably not going to be the case.
Right.
But at the same time, I like the cereal, So it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to enjoy it enough, but I'd love to be surprised by something, and right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like we got the Eternals coming out in November, right?
Right.
And that's one where I'm like, to your point, I'm like, that's going to be something different in this universe.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
and I don't have any affinity for the characters, really. And I'll tell you right now, anyone who says, oh man, I'm a huge Eternals fan, I'm telling you right now, they're full of shit. And nobody's a huge Eternals fan. You are at best a person who's aware of them while ignoring them.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
Right?
okay.
But I'm you have Chloe Zhao directing it. It's something different that
Yeah.
we haven't seen in this universe. And again, it's carrying the story forward.
Yeah.
It's taking us into the next phase, whatever that is. I feel that my sense of this movie is it feels a little bit like a contractual obligation.
Oh, this one, Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, we got her and we should do it. And, and again, I'm sure it'll be fine, but this is unavoidable. This is not even a good comparison, but I'm certainly not feeling the way I was at this same time last year heading into Endgame.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Which obviously that's a ridiculous comparison. That's I shouldn't even put that on this movie.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. And if I can give it a compliment, though, as we're talking, I'm thinking of this. Out of those 20-some movies, how many of them are bad?
Right.
You know, so even if they're starting to feel sort of like, I mean, we've said it sort of feels like a television show in a good way because TV's gotten very, very good. So even if we walk in kind of knowing what to expect, they rarely let us down. Like, we don't walk out being like, ooh, wow, that was bad. Like, it's all, they've maintained a level of quality that is almost incomprehensible.
Very true.
How they continue to do that. So that's why I don't have anything against this movie. I just don't have anything that's making me excited about it. But I know I'm going to tune in and be like, wow, they did it again. They made something that was pretty good.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
And that's, even what I just said as a compliment is still somewhat of a mixed bag of a compliment. But, you know.
Well, that comes out, like I said, May 1st. So we'll have more to say once that's out. A little sad news to start our headlines with, Brian. This is, again, news that is just hours old.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow has passed away.
Yeah.
90 years old, Max von Sydow.
90. Yeah, legend.
Now, this is an actor who, and I said this on social media earlier, I'm like, you would just put him in your movie and he would improve it just by being in it. Mm-hmm. He was, you know what I mean?
Just one of those effortless,
yeah,
gravitas kind of. Think of the beginning of The Force Awakens.
I was about
to
bring that up. Yeah,
right. He plays this character who he never learned who he is or how he factors into anything.
He's Lor Santeca, Brian.
Oh, forgiveness.
I wish you would read your visual encyclopedia.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, but he adds so much when he's
in it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Something about the moment I remember the most is Poe referring to Leia as the general, and he's like, "She's royalty to me."
To me, she's royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. First time I ever saw Max von Sydow was as Ming the Merciless.
I've never seen that
in Flash Gordon. Yeah. And you know, so for the longest time, I just assumed that's what he looked like, you know.
That's funny.
You know, but he was ubiquitous. I mean, he's in The Exorcist, right? And you know, and the Seventh Seal, which that movie is like about a plague.
Oh yeah, I thought you were laughing because you were thinking what I was thinking, which is The Sad Truth. I've never seen that movie. The reason I know it most is because of Last Action Hero. Oh.
No, I actually saw that in film school, The Seventh Seal.
Oh, okay.
But he was in Dune. He was in Conan the Barbarian. He was like a Dino De Laurentiis regular, now that I think about it, because those are all three Dino De Laurentiis movies.
Minority Report is probably, for me personally, what I remember him most.
Judge Dredd, there's a good example
right.
of like a shit movie with this amazing cast, among them Max von Sydow, you know?
Right. He's in Strange Brew. I think that's probably where I saw him first.
There you go. Look at the poles of a career that can encompass The Seventh Seal and Strange Brew.
Right.
Let us applaud the giant who's able to stride both of those genres. But 90 years old, that's the crazy thing to me. I mean, so many, like Max von Sydow was 42 in The Exorcist.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
He was like our age in The Exorcist.
See, I think about that a lot of times when people are trying to break into something and then it's not working out, and you like in your 20s or your 30s, whatever, like you feel like, oh, I haven't done the thing. I remember for me personally, when I was 27, they have this sad thing called the 27 Club, where all these like amazing artists died when they were 27, right? And like Hendrix and Kurt Cobain and Janis Joplin, all these people. So I remember when I hit 27, I was like, I haven't written anything that's been produced. I haven't directed anything. And I mean, I wasn't taking it super seriously, but it was something I thought about. And then I look at these people like George Clooney or Samuel Jackson or Max von Sydow, and they found their moment all these years later. And what if they had stopped, right? And then, they become people that we'll never forget, but they found their stride later. It didn't have to be by this marker that most people would impose on themselves, right, in their early 20s or something.
That's true.
So,
I relate to George Clooney a lot
in so many ways.
In so many ways. I just look in the mirror, I'm like, just clooning it up.
Yeah, making your Nespresso. And
So yes, Max von Sydow, he will be missed. He'll leave a mark that, I mean, it's just there'll, like the instant, as you said, gravitas that he brought. Like, I don't know who else, can embody that.
Mm-hmm.
Other news. This is we're talking about the coronavirus affecting movie attendance, and I'm curious if this had a factor in the opening of Disney Pixar's Onward.
Mm-hmm.
Which really went backward in terms of how much money it made.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up now. I don't have the box office. How did it do? I don't have it.
So this is a movie that has a $200 million budget. And by Pixar standards, that's kind of right in the range.
Yeah.
But it opened to $40 million over the weekend.
Ugh.
Right? And that's, I mean, sometimes I'm like, it's presumptuous to call something a bomb, but I'm like, that's not good for like a Pixar movie. That's like around the range of like Bug's Life.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. There's a lot of things to consider. I have to admit, I'll show up for almost any Pixar thing. I didn't show up for Cars 2 or 3. There's 1 or 2 that I'll miss, but relatively, I show up for anything Pixar, and the trailers weren't totally doing it for me.
I had the same reaction. Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's also, I heard on another podcast them mentioning that they were going to talk about it next week, and they were saying that they forgot that it was coming out.
Wow.
Right. So I feel like I'm aware of it, but I didn't know it was this weekend necessarily until I was reminded, and I don't know, right? Like, it just feels like there wasn't like what you would normally get with these other Pixar movies where it's coming out and there's like a buzz about it. This one just felt sort of like The Good Dinosaur or something, right?
That's another one that just kind of came and went. Yeah,
something was missing from this one, and I don't know what to identify it as.
And I should couch this by saying, I mean, the reviews have been very good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everyone I've talked to who's seen it seems to have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sean texted me, our friend Sean, recommending it.
Yeah, he recommended it to me also, and so I'm like, I can't speak to the quality, but I'm more interested in the fact that just for whatever reason people didn't turn up, and reflexively, you're gonna be like, oh well, it's because people are afraid of catching, the 6.
Yes.
But I'm like, movies are still like playing. I mean, they're doing okay. People are still going to the theater.
Yeah, see, I wonder, and I'm sure it impacts the U.S. a little bit, right? But I think worldwide, I mean, there are places with quarantines in effect, yes. Right? And so certainly worldwide it will be impacted to a degree. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why domestically.
The other thought I have had is I wonder if Disney Plus might be sort of scavenging some of the theatrical audience. Where people are like, well, we're paying $6 and we know it's going to be on here in like 3 months.
Yeah, that could be. Right?
Because like, what's the turnaround from theatrical to Disney Plus?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Right? I want to say, I think the shortest is probably, I think Lion King, it was like 90 days.
Wait, say that again?
Lion King was 90 days from theater to Disney Plus.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. That feels almost like a game changer.
Yeah, that's my thought, right? Because if people are like, well, we're paying whatever it is, like $6 a month, $7 a month for Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. Let's just wait 3 months versus going to the theater right now and spending, $100 something.
And also, I mean, it was released when kids were in school. It's not like it's spring break or summer. Or...
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, Pixar, generally you expect summer or fall.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. I mean, I don't know. It's I just found that kind of opening for a movie like this. I mean, you got stars in it.
Yeah, right.
Chris Pratt, Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thought I have is Chris Pratt in fact a star?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he is obviously worldwide recognized, and I think he's pretty well liked. But I think it also has a lot to do with what the property is.
Yes.
Right? Like we want to see him in the things we want to see him in.
Right. So like Chris Pratt plus Marvel, Chris Pratt plus Jurassic.
Yep. Right.
That's one thing.
The Passengers was kind of a weird thing that.
I did not like that at all.
Oh really? I actually didn't mind that movie.
Nah, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan, Brian.
Yeah, that was one I watched with my parents during the holidays, and it was, it's hard finding a movie for everybody, and it just kind of worked. We're all like, oh, all right. It was like the sort of, not putting the movie down necessarily, but sort of the settled on movie. You know what I mean? And then everybody's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. See, I'd have to go back and listen to what we said on the show about it, but my recollection is I couldn't get past the ending of essentially like Jennifer Lawrence being like, oh, okay, well, I guess.
I can't disagree with that. Yeah.
You did this thing, you ruined my life, but you.
You know what? I feel like it's coming back to me because I'm remembering sort of these feelings because I think you can imagine an ending where that could possibly happen, but we didn't feel like they got there or something.
That's right.
I never bought that she would ever be okay with what happened.
That was my recollection is I was just like, there is no way you can get me to the place where she's okay with what he did based on what we see in the film.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the movie puts you on his side where it tries to make you justify what he does.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And there's moral implications. Like, I'm not saying don't tell that story.
Right.
But play it out. Like,
right. Let's deal with it.
Because him in that situation, you say, well, I understand him being so desperate that he would do this.
Mm-hmm.
But to then have the movie come around and be like, but it's fine what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had a problem with.
Yeah, you can imagine they were probably like, let's just get on to the spectacle of it or the fun of it or the adventure of it. Whereas, maybe if it was a movie made earlier where they didn't overthink those things to death, even in the 70s or something, or the 80s, it would have been about the quandary, the dilemma.
Yeah, if it wasn't such an expensive thing, that needs to tie everything up in a bow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I'm morally superior, Brian. All I'm saying is if I was on a interstellar transport in hibernation and I got woken up by accident and I had the opportunity to wake up Jennifer Lawrence, I don't think I'd do it. I'm just saying that.
I wouldn't either. Like, you're condemning. Yeah, this is so funny. This is turning into Passengers. But you're condemning that person to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
So be better.
So
Chris
Onward.
Pratt.
Yeah. Yeah, be better, Chris Pratt.
Anyway, so Onward. That's the story. That I would not have expected Pixar bombs being a headline to wake up to yesterday morning, and yet there it was.
Yeah. So it'll just be interesting to see how this sort of thing plays out because now people are. Moving on right to James Bond, which did get pushed.
Yes.
Specifically because of these concerns of people showing up because of coronavirus fears.
So this was supposed to come out like a month from now.
Yeah.
And the whole marketing machine was in full effect. They've probably it's gonna cost $50-60 million to push it.
Yep, and Daniel Craig hosted SNL this weekend.
Like right in the middle of his week of prep for SNL, they're like, "Oh, by the way, movie's not opening for another 7 months."
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Yep.
Daniel. By the way, did you watch SNL with Daniel Craig?
I did. Yeah.
I love his enthusiasm.
Oh, he was just so ready to be silly.
This is a guy who loves nothing more than just being the fact that he is on SNL.
Yeah.
He exists in that moment, and I absolutely, I'm there for all of that.
The whole little video sketch they had about him being Bond,
yes,
playing craps, and then getting distracted because he started winning was so. I was like laughing out loud. It was so funny.
But yeah, so that movie, that's actually a perfect example, right? Because you've got major quarantines effect in the East. Now Italy, like 19 million people are quarantined in Italy, something ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And so if no other franchise, James Bond is an international franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And so the MGM people are like, they just did the numbers, and they're like, we can lose 60 million by moving it to November and make that back, or we can lose potentially hundreds of millions now and not make it back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I have a thing in front of me. It said, I think this might be from the Hollywood Reporter, but it said that the countries that do have restrictions at the moment contributed to 38% of the global earnings for Spectre. So I mean, that's like 40% of your box office right there. That is literally affected. So yeah.
I guess the only alternative they had was to release it as planned in April, but they would change the title to "No Time to Die." They decided not to go with that, though. So. I think it's a smart choice.
Yeah, that's terrible, but pretty clever.
I regret nothing, Brian.
But speaking of, I saw the trailer again, maybe even this past week, and unlike Black Widow, watching this trailer is like, damn, this thing cooks.
Right.
It just, the cinematography is flashy and exciting. The action looks really like there's spectacle to it, and it looks really gritty and not like people fighting on debris falling from the sky. It looks tangible, and I'm sad. I want to watch this movie now.
I was getting into like Bond Zone. I was like getting emotionally ready. So now it's like, oh, well then. It's like,
yeah,
I have to reset my compass. The one upside for me is like I was hoping to do like a Bond rewatch, go through as many of them as I could, and I was like, well, the clock's working against me, but now maybe not.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think I saw you post something about that. So,
yeah, I mean,
you are going through all of them, or?
Well, it used to be like before things like having kids and stuff like ruined it, but I used to. It was my thing before a new Bond movies. Really, I would say during the Pierce Brosnan era, not so much with Daniel Craig, but I used to, I'd just go through all of them. Mm-hmm. And, and it was, there were less back then, so it was,
right.
there were like 16 or whatever it was, right, when GoldenEye came out. But I'd go to Hollywood Video every week and I'd rent the new video. But it's just hard. It's just hard to find time. Yeah. And now I'm hoping, but I don't think I can even convince my wife to go through 24 James Bond movies with me.
Yeah. I started because I bought the collection. Amazon had a deal, 1 week or something, and all the Blu-rays were pretty affordable. So I started it, and I need to. This is buying me time. So yeah, I should do that. I should.
If nothing else, like look up a list of like the best ones to watch.
Yeah.
Because obviously, 20 plus movies, that's an investment.
Sure.
Unless it's building up to Bond versus Thanos or something,
Right.
This is different. But I would say, I could certainly tell you like the 5 or 6 or whatever that are like the ones to check out.
Well, that's significant. That cuts it down. Yeah.
Something to think about.
All right.
Anyway, so we'll be talking more about No Time to Die this November when it opens. It's actually opening on November, I think 25th. And that's kind of been a thing where, because my wife's birthday is November 26th, so it's sort of become a Bond tradition that we always go see, like we'll have dinner and go watch the James Bond movie around the time of her birthday.
Nice.
Ever since we got married. So, and by the way, this November will mark, 14 years since Casino Royale came out.
Wow. 14 years.
Which is nuts. So Daniel Craig by far has the distance record in terms of years playing the role.
Huh.
Right. But I think he also has the fewest Bond films per tenure in terms of like for the amount of time he's played the role, he's had the fewest number of films. It's weird because 5, it's like, that's not nothing, but Roger Moore did 7, Connery did 6 technically. Yeah. So he's like number 3 in terms of number of movies, but amount of time, he's number 1.
Yeah. Remember when he was a risky choice?
That's like hilarious in hindsight.
I know. Now we're all like, yeah, that's Bond.
There was literally a website called Craig Not Bond. And it was just these people who were, I mean, it was like the progenitors of like the release the Snyder Cut type stuff that goes on now.
That's funny.
It's that same, but it was different because there was no social media. So it was like people online, websites and message boards and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So think about this. There was a message board on a Daniel Craig Not Bond website. Like, how many threads are you going to get out of that topic?
Right. It would have to sort of have these little offshoots where, you know, it's like, well, this is my recipe, my lasagna recipe.
Yeah, right.
You know, like just these sort of becomes a community.
Yeah, people are like, oh, he's so ugly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. People are terrible, Brian.
I know. This always happens, and then it works out, and everybody likes it.
That's the historical record of quote unquote controversial actors playing beloved characters. Mm-hmm. Inevitably, the wheel comes back around.
Yeah,
where people are now because the next guy, I feel bad for whoever the next guy is going to be because it's going to be
I know. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. Here's my prediction. It's going to be a person of color. Mm-hmm. And people are going to lose their minds.
Right. And it's going to come out, and it's going to be good.
Let's mark this conversation. Let's see how right I am.
Stamp it.
Yeah. Anyway, other headlines, Brian.
I just thought this was kind of interesting. Disney Plus is working on a Beauty and the Beast spin-off for Gaston and LeFou. And they're actually going to bring back the movie iterations of them with Luke Evans and Josh Gad. So, I mean, I have nothing. I'm not for or against it. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, that's not something I would have imagined. But on the other hand, it's kind of impressive that they got these, big stars to come back and do this sort of thing. So,
well, to be fair, Josh Gad is already in the Disney Plus family because he's starring in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So he probably it's just a matter of like going one stage over.
Yeah, and I don't have too much to say about it, except that with The Mandalorian Season 1 ending, I saw a lot of people probably jokingly saying that, like, well, time to cancel Disney Plus. And I even found myself like, well, now what?
Right.
So I was wondering what they're going to do. And the Obi-Wan series, as we've already talked about, got pushed. So what are they going to do besides having this old catalog of things? What are they going to do to keep it new and exciting, and you've got to keep watching? And so I thought, wow, this is kind of something I didn't imagine. And it's not for me, but it's, I don't know. It's an interesting.
I forgot about Beauty and the Beast as soon as it ended.
Yeah. You saw it, the live action one?
I did.
Okay.
But my recollection is that Gaston is pretty awful.
Right. So this is prequel, right? Yeah, prequel.
So this is not Gaston comes back from the dead to try to redeem himself. Mm-hmm. This is douchebag, borderline rapist Gaston.
Right.
Doing what? Like what are we doing for 6 episodes or whatever it is? Like, what's the goal here?
Yeah, where we want to spend time with him.
Because we still need to end up at a place where we're glad that Beast, I don't know what the hell he does. He kills him, I know that.
Yeah. It's weird.
Right?
It's, with the whole DC thing, too, where they keep making these movies about the villains and sort of, in some ways, making them protagonists. So then it becomes kind of weird.
Yeah. But that at least is at a place where okay, well, Joker notwithstanding, but like something like Birds of Prey, okay, this is like Harley's next chapter. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But this, again, it's like, okay, it's a prequel. It's Gaston. That's friggin' awful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know.
And this is not a new. It's not like Wicked or something. This is the Gaston from that movie. That's him. Mm-hmm. Remember him? How you hated him there? Well, here, this is before that.
Yeah.
So are we seeing like a nice young Gaston who's like hopeful and optimistic, and then something awful happens?
I was just thinking that right now, if they're going to go that thing. But then that, it colors what you see later, and it's weird.
Yes. I think they need to, because they're also doing a Disney Plus Prince Anders series.
Is that the character from Aladdin?
That is.
Yes, I thought I saw that, yeah. So weird. Like a total little sort of joke.
Yes.
From the movie, and then they're making a whole thing built around that guy. It's so...
Well, I'm just happy for Billy Magnuson, because he had a bad run for a couple years there where he was like the guy being blamed for all of whitewashing.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Remember where he starred in the Bruce Lee movie about the white guy who met Bruce Lee?
No, wait, what was that?
It was called Birth of the Dragon, I believe.
Okay.
And it's the story of Bruce Lee as told by this fictional white guy who knew Bruce Lee. And I'm like, oh. But I'm just like, so are they doing like a shared universe? This is all building up to something, is my point.
I see.
We're taking this side character from this movie. We're going to get, Chiwetel Ejiofor will be Scar in this series, and they're going to do like the Legion of Villains or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It does feel like if it doesn't have Star Wars or Marvel in the title, Disney Plus is scraping the barrel a little bit.
You just reminded me. I keep forgetting that those Marvel shows are coming, but I think they need to hurry. I think Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's like the first one out to shoot, I think. Okay.
And that's not until, I want to say November?
Wow, okay.
Right?
I look forward to it.
There was a thing, during the Super Bowl where they showed...
Yeah.
So we got Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all within the next year. I think Wanda's like a year from now, I think. But that's stuff people are excited about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It'll get me to open the app again.
There you see, I watch it all the time because my daughter is in full Disney princess mode right now.
Right.
So
that's perfect then.
Yeah, it's great for her. It annoys the shit out of everybody else around us.
Yeah.
She's like, no, want to hang out with Elsa. She says hang out.
Really?
Yeah. Want to hang out with Elsa. So that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Right.
It's very funny because she's going to be 3 in a few weeks. She's very much a girly girl. Uh-huh. Which my wife loves, but she's also very tomboyish because she's got 4 boy brothers,
Right.
So
she can throw a punch.
She doesn't mess around. She doesn't tolerate no fools.
Right. Good.
I was watching we were watching The Fugitive, and she said, "Is that Han Solo?"
Really?
Yep, true story.
Wow. Wow, your kids are very impressive.
I'm not making that up. That's true.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll be darned.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Han Solo, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I hear some music.
Oh.
So one question that has been rocketing around fandom ever since the release of Rise of Skywalker was, did Palpatine have sex?
Actually, I did see that quite a few times.
Yeah, a lot.
I have to admit, it occurred to me. I was like, who is this woman that was in his life? I mean, the mind wanders.
Yes.
But apparently, if you had any that question or any 30 variants of questions related to anything about the Emperor, Rise of Skywalker, this was your week, man. So apparently the novelization of Rise of Skywalker is being released or has just been released, right?
Has just been, I believe. Yeah.
Just been released. And it fills in a bunch of gaps that the movie just sort of skipped over, including how did the Emperor survive from that fall from Return of the Jedi? And, just to skip right to it, apparently that wasn't the Emperor we were seeing in Rise of Skywalker. That was a sort of clone.
Yeah.
Right? Like not at 100%. So his spirit or his essence or whatever you want to call it was transferred over into this clone. And I think the filmmakers have gone on record with Rise of Skywalker saying that there were more lines or there was exposition explaining some of this stuff, but they felt like they just wanted to get the show on the road. The movie's already over 2 hours. So, I mean, how you feel about that may vary. But I don't know. It felt like, okay, that's fine. But then I felt like they kept dropping all these things and like, oh, and also this. I felt like I kept seeing articles that was like, oh, and the book also explains this and also explains that. And the more it happened, the more angry people were getting. Did you find this?
That's what's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, people mad.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't you think that is problematic when you're relying on the novelization to fill in all the gaps?
Yes.
So I think people getting mad is like, it is hilarious. But I also think like, even if let's assume for a second that everything that's in the novelization was planned from the outset. Right? Mm-hmm. You're telling me that you didn't anticipate people asking these questions? You're telling me people wouldn't that the dark side is the Force is a pathway to many unnatural abilities. You really thought that would be enough to explain the Emperor surviving?
I know. This is my feelings about this movie are so complicated because
I'm with you.
Like the first time I watched it, I didn't really like it very much. It felt, and it wasn't that I thought it was even a bad movie. It just felt like a really incomplete film. Like I could feel how rushed it was, and that the glue was still setting as it was released in the theaters. As all the pieces were just put together in a mad dash. And they've even said, J.J. Abrams wanted to split it into 2 movies. He felt like this wasn't enough, and he also wanted more time, and they wouldn't give him more time. So, I mean, it's known that Abrams kind of had a gun to his head putting this together. So that's no excuse necessarily, but it is some context, right? The second time I watched the movie, I had an emotional experience, and I was able to put all those things out of my head and enjoy it for what it was. And then I saw it a third time, and it didn't play as well for me again. And then reading all these things just reminded me that the movie was a little undercooked.
Yes.
And I think I'm always going to be able to enjoy it on TBS on a Saturday and whatever. And it just is what it is. But I'm not dumb. Like, I'm aware that this movie is undercooked, and it's frustrating. And it's my fandom that is helping me, look at it as a family member that just needs a little assistance,
Sure.
across the finish line. It's fine. I'm willing to give a little love to it, or squint my eyes a little bit. As I watch
so
it.
I'm looking at an article. This is the Wrap, and it has 6 times that Rise of Skywalker retcons past Star Wars movies. The novelization, excuse me.
Okay.
And so there's a few, but one of them here, it's how did the Emperor, how did he survive, right?
Right.
And it says here, technically, the Rise of Skywalker movie already did this retcon just by having the Emperor in it, but the book actually detailed how Palpatine made it out, and the answer is he teleported his soul out of his body to the Sith lair on Exegol. He did this before he died, as he was falling down that shaft in the Death Star.
All right. Which could be that all that gas or the light, right, that shoots up.
I guess.
And believe me, I'm not adjusting this in my head canon. I'm just being charitable. Good.
And it says here, this is the Emperor. This is another retcon. The Emperor wanted Luke to kill him at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
The Emperor wanted Luke to kill him. So it says here, in this novelization, there's some extra dialogue from Palpatine when Rey first meets up with him. The Emperor gives his pitch about how Rey can become the heir to the Sith legacy by killing him and thus allowing his spirit to live on in her. Rey is not into this idea, of course, since she's a good person and all that. And then, in the book version of this scene, Palpatine says something weird. I've made this very proposal before, but on that unfortunate day, Luke Skywalker had his father to save him. So that's different. What this means is that in Return of the Jedi, the Emperor was not just trying to get Luke's angry so he turned to the dark side. Instead, he was actually literally trying to get Luke to murder him, which in turn means that when Luke did take a swing at Palpatine and Darth Vader prevented the blow from landing, Vader was actually going against his master's wishes. This is an impossible reading of that scene, and even with the recontextualization provided, you still just cannot watch that scene and in good faith interpret it that way. But apparently this is canon now.
Okay.
So I just want to point out that a lot of people are like, oh, this is canon, this is canon. The novelization of Return of the Jedi says that Owen Lars is Obi-Wan's brother. So,
Right.
I mean, canon is canon. To me,
Right.
canon is what you see on screen, honestly. Mm-hmm. If it ain't on the screen, it ain't been seen.
Yeah, I am the same way. I've always been like that. That's why I had a hard time getting into the extended universe.
Yeah.
And when Lucasfilm was bought by Disney, and then they were like, no, extended universe is now called Legends, and everything moving forward is now canon, and they had the comic books. I read a few of the comics. I paid attention to a few of these things because it felt kind of neat that this was like, okay, they really are building this out, and this is supposed to all connect.
Yeah.
But as more and more and more and more things came out, and then they're like, yeah, actually Leia was frozen in carbonite between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I was like, oh, and you lost me. Like, we're done. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm with you in terms of Rise of Skywalker. I think the way you said it is very apt, right? It's you're not blind to the flaws, but you are kind of like, look, I'd rather focus on the stuff that I genuinely enjoyed in that movie, and just sort of squint past the stuff I didn't, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to spend a lot of time stressing about what wasn't. Right, but it's interesting because I've talked before about the Captain Picard the TV show on CBS All Access, right? Mm-hmm. And the episode that just came out this past week. You have a scene where it's Picard, Patrick Stewart, reunited with Commander Riker and Counselor Troy, who were on the show, and now they're older, and it's been however long, Mm-hmm. And they see each other and they hug, and it's just this beautiful moment,
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, I keep banging this drum, but I'm like, how do you not understand the emotional value of getting that in a Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea that, when Han and Leia are reunited, turns out they've been separated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'm all about, hey, don't just give the audience what they want. I'm down with that, but I'm also like, sometimes you have to do a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really like, again, I've said this before, nothing new, but like, people get on Rian Johnson for whatever, subverting, the expectations in Last Jedi. But I'm like, look, JJ is the one who killed off Han Solo right out right out the gate,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I, with time, a little distance, and I'm, obviously we'll get more distance as we go on, but I totally blame Lucasfilm for this.
Yeah.
For not thinking through a trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said this too many times. Everybody, this is nothing new. This is, I think, the consensus, but just that they didn't have a plan is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it's felt. It's too bad.
It's a shame. And again, I'm fully at a point where I look at these films for what they are.
Agreed.
And I there's a lot that I like about them. I think Star Wars is richer for Kylo Ren being in it. I think that Poe and Finn and Rey are great characters. I like them all, and I'm glad that they are in this franchise. So on balance, at the end, it's like I've said, I'm like, I mean, it is what it is. But definitely the little stuff, you're just like, well, I'm not a director, but that seems like an obvious thing to do here,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. But one thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a video which I think I had shared it with you, looking at the VFX in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is you can watch this on YouTube, right? But it's looking at how essentially green screens have been obsoleted,
right,
with this new technology.
Right.
So essentially, The Mandalorian, for all the times we've watched it and been like, man, it has such scale, like it's a feature film. Did they fly, Pedro Pascal out to Tunisia to do all this?
Yeah.
And no, it's just he's on a soundstage, and they have this front projection system using 3D camera rigs that are able to, that the cameras plug into the image on the screens, and the image changes based on the camera angle in real time as actors are walking across the screen.
So they basically, you can have whatever fictional set you want, but they're on these insanely high resolution screens, and you can film it, and those colors will actually reflect off of his armor, right? So it's like you don't have to color it in later and have it not feel like he's really there. I mean, he really is reacting to scenery around him. You're putting in the Matt in real time, right?
Yeah, it's next level.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And from what I've read a little bit about it, it sounds like it's insanely expensive. So it at some point, I think people will catch on to it. But for now, it might be somewhat exclusive to them. But it's a pretty wise and I think exciting step forward for this.
Yeah, I think some of this technology first was tried out a couple years ago, and not with the Lucasfilm thing, but on the movie Oblivion.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was the first time I heard about it. But definitely the stuff the Mandalorian people are doing is like a leap forward even from that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you get a feature scale? Well, with this. Mm-hmm. Like, you spend the money on these massive monitors, which are cheaper now because of technology. Mm-hmm. Where we have these ultra thin screens.
Right.
And you can do that now. I mean, there's nothing we can say on this show that can really sum it up. I mean, I would encourage anybody to go check out like Mandalorian VFX reel or something on YouTube. It just blew my hair back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's totally worth a watch. Yeah.
So, Brian, it occurs to me that this is a story that really we should have led with. Like, how do you and I, of all people, not lead with this story?
Totally.
Which is that this Indiana Jones sequel that's been in development for a long time now. We've been sort of anticipating / dreading it, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Depending on what day of the week you catch us.
Right.
So the latest word is that the movie's still happening.
Yes.
But Steven Spielberg is no longer doing it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, do you have the Beatles without one of the Beatles?
Yes.
Right? I mean,
yes,
to me,
yes,
Indiana
the question
Jones...
is apt, not yes, do you have the Beatles? Like,
yeah.
At some point, it's no longer the Beatles, it's Wings.
Right. Right. Yes. But, I mean, Indiana Jones is Steven Spielberg, Harrison Ford, John Williams. And to be fair, George Lucas.
Yes.
That sounds. I feel really bad actually now. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean.
I picture George Lucas like listening and waiting in anticipation for his name.
It's kind of sad. I think I almost even forgot to say it because it's like he doesn't really come up as much as Steven Spielberg, Indiana Jones. Right?
That's true.
But obviously, Indiana Jones is George Lucas's creation.
Yeah.
And he pitched it to Steven to make, and he's been instrumental in all the stories. And I think you and I would agree, like 3 out of 4 we think are pretty good. So that's, in all fairness.
Yes.
But taking it with Steven Spielberg, though, is the man behind the camera directing these things. So it's just impossible for me to imagine an Indiana Jones movie that isn't through Steven Spielberg's sensibilities or eye or direction or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and well, so they're saying that James Mangold is gonna be the new guy.
Yeah, apparently deal hasn't closed, but that is in the works.
Which, so I have no problem with James Mangold doing this movie, except for the fact that he's not Steven Spielberg, and therefore they shouldn't make this movie.
I agree. I agree.
I'm like, honestly, Brian, I'm like bipolar about this.
Yeah, because even as I said that, I was like, is that what I believe?
I'm like, I don't want to live in a world where indie is commodified to the degree where it's like plug and play. And that's the world we live in anyway, so it's just, there's no avoiding it.
Knowing that Disney paid money for this character something's gonna happen, right?
You know, see if you track with this metaphor. It feels like, when I picture it in my head, Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones in a movie not directed by Steven Spielberg, it feels like Terminator 3.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So, well, it's nice to see him back, but it's not that thing anymore.
Yes.
And that's what I'm wrestling with. And obviously, Mangold's a talent, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. This is nothing against James Mangold at all.
Whatever movie, I'm sure it'll be good, but it's not that thing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Steven Spielberg is a singular voice.
Yes.
Goes without saying. And so having 4 movies of this character, and he is absolutely beloved, and it has a voice. I just can't imagine taking one of the most significant voices of this band away. It just won't. Yeah, it'll be Terminator 3, and it just, do we need it?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I keep coming back to that, right? Like, what does it say that even Spielberg's not feeling it anymore?
That is I think you might have said that when it first broke and we were talking about it, and I hadn't even considered that. But if he's not feeling enough passion, right, to put something into this, yeah, how are we supposed to feel about it? When we were already, even when we thought Spielberg was involved, we were already unsure.
That's it. Like to me, completely separate from James Mangold, because I've seen a lot of people being like, "Oh, now I'm excited about this," and I'm like, "I'm just not. I'm sorry." Like, and it's not about James Mangold. I'm just like, maybe it's just we did this to ourselves when
I love that diagnosis for ourselves. We did this to ourselves, Brian.
We did.
Like, this is great. I don't even know what you're about to say, but I just love it because it's probably true.
The truth of it is, for as much as we're like, that thing, that experience that we had, we're never going to have again. I think maybe more so even than Star Wars with Indiana Jones, we're wanting that. We're like, put all those ingredients back together and give me that again. Mm-hmm. And even having had that negative experience with Crystal Skull, we're still at that place.
Yeah.
And this is a way of knowing, well, for sure it's not going to be that experience.
Yeah.
It might be good.
Yeah.
If it gets made, of course we're going to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We'll be talking about it. But I don't know, man. It's weird. I felt, when I read the news, Spielberg is out, I felt this like malaise. It's hard to really quantify. But it was tangible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in this wrestling match with myself where I know this doesn't need to exist, but I still want it anyway, and it,
Yeah.
But this doesn't need to exist.
I would almost prefer if they just acknowledge, you know what, we're just starting over.
Yeah, this might be the time.
New Indiana Jones. Let's just, let's cut. We know Harrison really wants to do it, but it's time to move on. Mm-hmm. I feel like that would almost be better than because at the very least, the idea of Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg coming back, it's like, okay, they get to put their bow around it, and then we move on. And I'll always feel that. I'll always feel like, well, they never got the chance to really close strong.
Well, they did, but.
Well, they never got to fix the chance that they had to close.
Yeah.
In hindsight, should have just left it alone after the third one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It made me sad. I mean, that's the truth of it.
Can you think of anything sadder than this one being just as not great or worse? Like it really, truly going out with a fart?
So they come back and it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be... And you're not making another. Like, Harrison Ford's getting older.
Do you think that Spielberg was a little afraid of that?
Maybe.
Like, it's less about not feeling the passion, but it's about, it's the fear. He's like Rocky in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just, what if we F it up for real?
Yeah, Spielberg's so interesting right now. I mean, thinking back on Ready Player One, I didn't mind it when I watched it. And it's truly like Scorsese's definition of just a roller coaster ride. It wasn't really much of a movie. And in hindsight, it's been on HBO and I've flipped to it and not had much interest in continuing with it. I'm so curious why he made that movie.
Me too.
You know, and
I think I said this on the show. That is probably the most I've disliked a Spielberg movie since like the turn of the century.
yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because we talk about this, you know, we're in the Papa Spielberg phase of his career where he's sitting us down and telling us about history, you know,
Yes.
and it's great. And it's a different speed for him. And I think he's said, you know, the action movie thing, he can do that now blindfolded with his arm tied behind his back. So it's not interesting to him anymore, but we love it. It's our favorite song from him. And we want to hear another one of those songs. So I'm just not sure why he made Ready Player One. Like if it was him trying to bring people back, who the audience that wasn't following him to all of the historical movies, like bringing them back a little bit, or maybe proving that he can still do it, or I don't know what it was. But then that's just interesting you bring that up about Indiana Jones, where maybe he is feeling like, well, maybe he either doesn't have the passion for it, or he just doesn't feel like he's up for it, or he's worried about not sticking the landing. And I don't know. I'm really interested in where his head is at these days.
With Ready Player One, I wonder if the calculus was purely cynically the sense of, no, I'm not going to let somebody else make money off of my ideas. I'm going to make money off of my ideas. Because the whole thing is just, it's like a temple of Spielbergiana.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I have so many thoughts. I know people love that movie. I hated it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't understand why he made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that does factor into me pondering about this decision as well. I just don't know. I will say, I don't know if I should really talk about this or not, so I won't get into details, but someone I know was at an event where they showed a clip from West Side Story.
Okay.
And, you know, everybody's like, why is he remaking West Side Story?
Right.
And my friend was like, it is amazing. He goes, now I know why he made West Side Story.
That's what I'm hearing, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, there we go.
So, I mean, I'm glad. Like, if that's where his whims are at, like, go for it, you know? And if it comes out and we think it's awesome, awesome. But, yeah, he just doesn't seem to have an interest in the razzmatazz like he used to.
Yeah.
So, this news, I just don't know what to make of it.
Well, I guess it's going to be a story that we're going to track as it develops.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. At the very least, I imagine this day and age it would happen, but if it doesn't get made, I just so love to read that script.
Right.
I gotta know.
I will say about James Mangold, as you know, I interviewed him, and that's the new Nostalgia Theater show. Nicest thing that could have happened, he retweeted that my podcast with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't tag him in the tweet or anything like that. So he came across it somehow, and he put it out there, and he's like, I really enjoyed this interview with a very thoughtful reporter.
Yep.
And
I mean, it was so cool.
My brain just turned into pudding. because I mean, when you think about it, I talked to him in November.
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost
I
6
see.
months later. So how many of these junket interviews did he do between then and now?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Right? He's talking the movie up for Best Picture, you name it. And yet he remembered me by face to be able to say, that was a good one.
Yeah. And it was a good one. I mean, I listened to it. It's about 30 minutes long. And it's really cool because it's just the two of you at breakfast, I think, right?
Yeah.
And you're just you're asking him great questions, and he's very he has a lot to say, and it's really interesting things. So I think it was a really I think it's a discussion people are going to enjoy hearing from a smart and thoughtful filmmaker.
Well, thank you.
And you gave him great springboards to sort of leap into what he goes on about. So
his insights into storytelling,
yes,
are things I hope anybody can learn from.
Yeah.
You know? And what's funny about that, by the way, Brian, is like I wasn't even planning on turning that into a podcast. But then I was like, the Indiana Jones news broke, and I was like, wait a minute, I've got like half an hour of audio sitting in my phone.
Yeah, of this filmmaker just talking about making film.
Yeah, of like potentially future Indiana Jones director.
Yeah.
Best Picture nominee, Mm-hmm. So I'm glad I was able to put it out there. I'm glad people have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a little break and we'll come back and talk about a new release. And we're back. And Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that?
Universal with their attempt to bring back their monster universe.
Dark Universe!
R.I.P. 2017 to 2017.
Right.
Now the of course, like we spent enough time just like shitting all over, not just that movie, The Mummy specifically, but the whole presumptuousness of this dark universe, shared universe thing. I appreciate the fact that right away Universal's like, all right, that's not going to work. Let's try something different. And they had the novel idea of, hey, let's have somebody who's experienced with scary movies on a low budget do a scary movie on a low budget. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
So that's what accounts for The Invisible Man, which is in theaters right now and doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Blumhouse, right?
It is Blumhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the budget on this? I'm actually kind of curious now.
It was dirt cheap.
$7 million.
$7 million. Yep.
$7 million. And they came up with a slick looking cool movie.
So this movie's already made just under $100 million.
Wow.
So it's vastly profitable.
Yeah.
Virtually the moment it hit theaters, it was already hugely profitable.
And you know what's kind of interesting, and I mean this is with no disrespect, but I mean Elizabeth Moss isn't, when you speak of like Chris Pratt, does he bring in an audience? Like you don't think like headliner Elizabeth Moss.
No.
Necessarily, right? But then this movie's $100 million. It's amazing. And she is incredible, by the way. I got to throw that out there.
This is some of the best work she's ever done.
Yeah, I've always liked her because I love Mad Men. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. And she was fantastic on that, of course. And then in Us, I remember her just popping in that movie. I mean, the stuff she was doing in there, it was just incredible. And I was like, wow, Elizabeth Moss. Yeah, she's really great. And then watching this again, I mean, she carries this whole movie.
You know what's funny is like 2 weeks ago, totally by chance, like just before this movie came out, I've been watching Batman the Animated Series with my kids, and there's this episode where the villain is like this invisible man, basically, and the whole bit is that he has a relationship with this little girl, who thinks of him like her imaginary friend, and so she, and she doesn't realize that he's like this villain,
right?
And that little girl, voiced by Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, wow.
I swear to God, not making that up.
Huh. Oh, that's funny.
This is from like 92.
I like that little, I would watch that movie. That's a nice
Right.
little plot.
As long as it has Batman in it. Right?
right.
Gotta have Batman. Yeah, but no, you and I, we don't watch horror movies generally.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for this one, I appreciated that it was scary, but it was not horrifying.
Yeah, yeah. I got that sense from the trailer even that it was probably more of a thriller, but I have to admit I didn't feel a pull toward it. And then I saw it got really great reviews. I think it's in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
On Rotten Tomatoes. My friend was like, this movie it's not just like a good scary movie, it's just a good movie. You should see it. And then you suggested we watch this. So I was sort of forced to go see it. And, I don't know that I ever would have checked it out, to be honest. And I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good, I say lo-fi in like the best way. Like it's not going for flashy stuff. It's about this woman trying to escape this force she can't see. And it is really compelling and she's great. And I was like, how's he doing this? That's really interesting. And then when it all comes to a head at the end, I just really enjoyed sort of that last bit, the sort of set piece of it all. It's just a tight, cool movie.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think what works in its favor is that $7 million budget.
I Totally agree. The limitations really, really. That's what made it so cool. Like there's a scene, I think it's in the trailer, but there's a moment where she's being sort of tormented in the kitchen by him.
Yep.
And it's not about the flashy camera angles, and it's not about how expensive can we make this effect. It's literally just moving little objects and her being lifted in the air. And that's scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for a lot of this movie, it's it's Elizabeth Moss alone in a room, holding a knife, or whatever, and I think it does what a movie like this should do, which is says it makes you ask, what would I do?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, because throughout the movie she's the story is she escapes this abusive boyfriend who's not
in a really great opening scene.
Oh my gosh, the tension, right?
So good.
He lives in this palatial fortress, basically, in the San Francisco coast, and the process by which she attempts to escape, and the way that kind of culminates in this pop, very well done, and he's not merely physically abusive, he's emotionally abusive. He's gaslighting her,
right?
And I think, first of all, Lee Wanell, who wrote and directed this, he was the reason I was like, oh well, I want to watch it then, because he did a movie I loved a couple of years ago called Upgrade.
I gotta watch this. It's much like Invisible Man. You recommended it to me. My friend Chad recommended it to me. I've been putting it off because I felt like it was sort of like horror leaning, and that's just not my bag. But I got to check it out.
It's dark, but it's really worth watching.
Okay.
So he did that, and I loved that, and I was like, okay, well, whatever his angle is here, I'm interested in. And his angle was, rather than focus on the Invisible Man, which the 1933 version directed by James Whale, Claude Rains is great. It's like it's the Invisible Man. He's crazy, and what's he going to do, right? And we just shift to, well, no, let's focus on the victim of this person, right? And it's not about, oh, I've gone crazy, I want to conquer the world. It's I have always been crazy, and I will use this amazing world-changing technology to do one thing, and that's just to F with this person because she dared to leave me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the psychosis that's involved there, right?
Yeah.
And the things he does, piece by piece, are just, I mean, again, it's like, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah. And then going back to the sort of lo-fi, I keep saying lo-fi. What I mean is grounded.
Yes.
And like it's not, you're just in a house with a person. And then these things start to happen. It's exactly it. You're like, well, how would I react to this? And then what would I do to try to prove it? And it's that, you're right. That's what's so compelling about this. And I think, I remember the movie Hollow Man.
Yes.
I just never really liked that movie. I like the idea of it, but you are sort of with the invisible person the whole time. And it's got this really rapey feel. The whole
not
movie.
Feel. I mean, that's
well,
what
it
does.
is, yeah. But I mean, just the whole movie. It's just so sinister, and that was why I could never enjoy it. And this, it doesn't go totally all there, but he is like an awful guy. But I agree with you. I much prefer being on her side and trying to avoid that person and not being with that awful person the whole time, watching him do what he does. Like, I'd rather try to get away from him.
Right.
And I think that's why this movie is so much more enjoyable, because I'm with her and I want her to get out, and like let's follow her journey getting out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it helps that she's very relatable. She's very like normal.
Yeah.
I've seen this critique, and it's really baffling to me. People are like, you're telling me the Invisible Man does all this over Elizabeth Moss as if like she's some hideous person, and I'm like, are we at a place where Elizabeth Moss is not attractive enough? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, those people can all F
right
off.
but I think in the world, so that's ridiculous, number one. But number two, in the world of the story, that's what makes her relatable. She's like, you could have had anybody, why me?
Yeah, that's a line that
she
says,
literally says that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that adds a degree of vulnerability, and the way I mean, there's a scene in a restaurant, you know what I'm talking about, where, I don't know about you, but I was like, oh my God.
Yes. Oh, there's so many moments I want to call out, but I don't want to spoil one of them. But yeah, that's, I had an initial feeling. There's a moment, I won't even say where it is, but there's a moment, I'd say it's probably the end of the second act, basically. And I was like, this is awesome. But part of me wondered, like, what would James Cameron have done with this? Because it even reminded me a little bit of Terminator 2, sort of. But I kind of take it back now, I think. I think the fact that it wasn't shot like James Cameron would have shot it is why it sticks with the reality that we're talking about. That makes it so terrifying, and we always feel like we're on her side and with her. That scene in particular, it's like there's a lot of lingering shots in this movie. They don't cut a lot and go to some sort of dynamic angle, right? It's just really on the ground. And that's probably why it's so compelling and terrifying, including that restaurant scene. There's not a lot of flashy this or that, right? It's just you're in a restaurant with someone and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about some spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
So talking about the scene in the restaurant.
Yeah.
What made that work for me was the fact that it happens so quickly.
Yes.
Like you see the knife float. And you're like, wait, what? And
so cool of a reveal, by the way.
oh my gosh. And then just like
Yes. And then goes right into her hand and you're like, ah!
and
then
yeah, there's a finality to it.
yeah.
Like there's no fixing this. She is dead.
Yeah. Yes, that's a well put. Yeah, it's and the thing is it's not just at the beginning I wondered if they were setting up the victims like a horror movie would. But this movie didn't really do that. Yeah. I thought it was doing that, and one of the people I thought was going to be a victim wasn't. And they do this thing that I love / hate in movies. And I hate it because it's so squirmy to me. But when someone is misrepresented, it's so hard for me when people don't understand what we know about our hero. So where she, her sister gets this email basically like, I hate you and I'm cutting you out of my life. And the sister thinks it's from her, and she's, Moss is trying to explain that it isn't. And I'm like, no, just believe her. This is driving me crazy. Right. So then when they go to the restaurant and she actually, sister shows up for her, you already have that emotionality going on where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad she showed up. I hope she can explain herself.
I know.
Like now it's just so horrifying. And when that happens and the knife is in her hand and there's a restaurant full of witnesses, how in the world is she going to get out of this?
Yeah.
I love that. I love when I don't know how they're going to get out of this. And it just doesn't happen terribly often. But when it does, I'm like, ooh, I think I get taken out of the movie in the best way possible. Like, I don't know what I'd do. How are we going to do this? Let's go.
Right. Related to that is, when the people she's living with, you have the detective who's played by Aldous Hodge, who I didn't recognize him, or I did recognize him, I don't remember from, but he was MC Ren in...
he's fantastic, by the way.
He was really good, right?
He plays such a convincing ally.
Yes.
But then when his daughter is threatened.
Yes, exactly.
I thought he played that so well where it was like, look, we have a relationship and obviously I care about you, but like my daughter's been threatened, like goodbye. And, like it was just so well played.
And here's the thing, right? Because again, here's somebody who's living with you who's been dealing with emotional abuse issues, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I didn't hit your daughter. It was the invisible man.
Right.
How do you explain that away, right? Like, if you're in his position, of course you do what he did.
Yes.
Right?
But I thought some movies would either turn him into, like, oh, no, get out of my house or something. But like this, he felt like a real friend might behave.
Yeah.
You know, like, look, I know you're going through some stuff, but no.
I have to
and
keep
like
my
goodbye.
daughter safe. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I really respected the screenwriting of it and the performance of it. It was very good.
The brother character, the lawyer.
Again, interesting guy.
Right?
I couldn't get a handle on him, at first. I wasn't sure what to feel about him. And then at some point you start to sort of be like, oh, well, he's kind of a victim too, it feels.
Right. I mean, the movie's all about gaslighting. I mean, they're gaslighting us.
Yes.
In the audience. Because the whole time we're like, is he good? Is he not? Like, if you notice, what's really interesting, Adrian, the Invisible Man, Adrian Griffin, by the way, I like that because that's the name of the character in the original movie and the book is Griffin. It's John Griffin.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a little tie-in. But we don't see him, his face, until the very end of the movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he's sort of like really seen from very far distances a little bit, right? At the beginning.
He's just like a force.
Yeah.
He's a presence, And I also like that guy. Oh my God! Tell me he didn't have the most punchable face.
Yeah, right.
Right. As soon as you see him, you're like, "Ooh, I don't like you."
That's so funny. Yeah.
But this technology, I love the fact that the movie's just like, yeah, it's this thing he invented. Anyway, like
me too. Like when she sees the suit, I was like, yeah, I get it. That's
right.
Good. Enough. I don't need to know. Like it's yeah.
Because you're talking about like the Hollow Man, right?
Yes.
The first half hour of that movie is let's like inject the thing into this and oh my God, it works. And like we go through this whole journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the novelty of being like, nope, it's just he got a thing and there you go. Optics. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the best scares of the movie or jump moments is when she throws that paint.
Yes. Oh my
down.
God.
It's so awesome.
That's like the one true jump scare in the movie.
And it's so good. I mean, that is just like, one of my favorite things I've seen in a movie. Just that the angle, the reveal, the everything about it is just so great. But I noticed that there was a texture to his face that the paint was sort of spilling over, and I was like, wait, what? So it was kind of cool. Later, when you saw the suit, and you're like, oh, he's wearing a suit, right? Like it's got this sort of Spider-Man texture to it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then, oh my gosh, I mean, just the way she takes the suit and then hides it, and I was like, use it. What's wrong with you?
Yep.
But it's all being set up. It's all
Part
being
of the
laid
plan.
out for the whole. There's a plan. Oh,
well, and the plan. So she comes to see him. And he's like, I don't know what to get, so I just got everything. And he's being all humble, and you're like, ooh, I want to punch you in the face.
Yes.
And this is the stuff you think about later. She's like, I'll have the steak. Mm-hmm. And why? So that they have steak.
Oh, you're right.
knives.
I didn't even think about that.
Right?
Yeah, you're totally. She didn't pick the sushi.
Right.
She didn't need chopsticks. Oh, that's good. I didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it until later. I was like, that's genius.
Yep.
He's got the steak knife in his hand anyway.
Yep.
And then it just looks like he cut his own throat.
Yep. I mean, and going back a little bit, when you said, what would I do? I really appreciated the patience that this movie had because it didn't go for, let's do this. Like, let's dig in right now and just blow your hair back. Like, it was like, no, this guy's going to mess with her for a little bit. And then we're going to have another scene, and then he's going to mess with her a little more. And it just escalates to the point where when that bed sheet comes off the bed and she pulls on it and you see a footprint holding it down, I was like, ah!
Yeah.
That was terrifying. And it's something that's so... I mean, obviously not of this world, but it's something that if that happened to me in the middle of the night, it's grounded enough that I was like, what would I do in the middle of the night if I saw that happen? And so then it just escalates slowly to where it gets bigger and bigger to where it becomes so satisfying when you're in that institution. And her brilliant plan to get him to reveal himself.
Right.
And then when she makes the suit malfunction, that was the stuff I was talking about that reminded me of Terminator 2 a little bit, probably because of the hospital setting a little bit also.
Yeah.
But also that it's just this sort of humanoid looking thing, but it's also this bit of an otherworldly force. It has a seemingly, it's not, but a seemingly supernatural feeling menace to it, where it's this suit that's flickering in and out of visibility.
Yeah.
So every now and then you get a little view of it, but it's no matter how much opposition you put against it, you get the officers, right, and their guns. It doesn't matter. Then the gun, turns onto the guy and shoots him in the leg, and it becomes this Terminator-like force. Because of his ability, he can do that by hiding. But I just love the imagery of him flickering in and out and sometimes appearing and her trying to draw him out. And I loved that sequence. That was like,
well, and especially because there's that catharsis of finally they'll believe her.
Someone will see it. Yes. I felt that too. And then when people would get offed, I was like, no. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, we plugged into this movie in the exact same way. I'm so glad.
Me too. I hope our enthusiasm came across enough before the spoiler, because this is the stuff that I'm really getting giddy about. But I think people should check it out. I think people will enjoy it.
Yeah, it was funny because this is I had seen the reviews and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And we had just, like you said, we discussed it, like, oh, maybe we make this a thing. And then I had watched it and you were like, hey, so should I go see it or just do we want to do something else? I was like, no, go see it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too.
This is, when we look at Universal, and I've talked about this on the show before, I'm a big fan of their monster universe. Mm-hmm. And the key thing with that universe is that it didn't start out as a universe. It became that way eventually, but they concentrated on making good movies first.
Right.
And so I'm not saying I want to end up with a big monster mash or whatever, but if Universal plans to do new monster movies, this is the template you follow. And I don't mean do exactly this movie, but I'm saying you find a filmmaker, you give them a couple million, and you let them follow their fancy.
And who's got a good take and don't feel beholden to anything else. Like, I'm glad this movie didn't feel like it had to service 3 other movies that are coming down the pike.
Yeah, well, I was terrified that there was going to be the after credit scene where Russell Crowe shows up and
and he's like stroking a goatee, like, very interesting.
Yeah. Do you think you're the only monster in this universe, or whatever he says?
Right.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, again, like Lee Wanell is from the James Wan school. They've worked together, and I read that James Wan is doing some Universal monster movie.
Oh yeah, I saw it too, which I don't remember.
I don't remember if there was a specific title.
Oh, I see.
But my point is, that's what you do. You just you do $7 million, man. Mm-hmm. You're gonna make that back, and you can swallow the risk. Mm-hmm. You can see what works.
And I'd say it's all the better for it, and it's encouraging that it's done so well.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I think that's a good place to leave this discussion.
Yeah. Well, isn't it wonderful to be surprised?
It truly, and that's the word. It was a very pleasant surprise. This movie was not on my radar at all.
Yep.
A few weeks ago, and then you hear the organic word of mouth, and it's something you just get to experience. I mean, this is. Yeah, we've been talking earlier about how people are making theatrical experiences they're making that trip less and less. Mm-hmm. Because, if I want to go, I want to get the big spectacle. But I'm like, this is a movie that rewards a theatrical experience. Mm-hmm. It rewards you just sitting in the theater and just letting it happen. Mm-hmm. Because it'll play on TV, but there's just something about watching a movie like this in the theater.
Yeah, I wish I had seen it with a bigger audience. I think that would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I saw it at a random time, just because that's what had happened. But there was only 4 other people in there. I mean, it was like the middle of the day. And but it was fun because then you could hear everybody even more clearly. So there was me and some guy, like 4 rows over, and we were both at the same time would be like, "Whoo!" or like, "Ah!" So it's almost funnier when it's just like 3 voices.
Yeah, well, Universal has a movie in the works called Invisible Woman.
Interesting.
Which, as far as I know, has no connection to this. Mm-hmm. It's going to be written and directed by, and possibly starring, Elizabeth Banks.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means, and I would assume they would have to change the title because I don't think the Disney people will want a movie out there called Invisible Woman.
Right.
That's my guess.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I wasn't tracking. So this is not a Universal movie.
This is Universal. The Elizabeth Banks one.
Wait, so what? I'm sorry. What was the Disney thing you just said?
Well, Disney has a character called Invisible Woman.
Who?
The Fantastic Four, and there's the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I see. That's where I was getting confused because then I thought all of a sudden you were talking about Elizabeth Banks was making a Disney movie.
No, it's a Universal movie with the title Invisible Woman, and I'm just like,
I see.
I have to imagine that Disney's lawyers are going to get involved there.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, I would assume.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
But regardless, my point is that's going to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where that goes. And then Paul Feig has like some Dark Army, I think that was called. Remember that? We talked about that.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, they're clearly just like they're kind of following the path that Warner Brothers seems to be doing with the DC characters now.
Like, just make the best version of each thing.
Yeah, and just see what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. To see what happens next.
Me too.
And let's leave it there.
Let's.
Before the Disney lawyers show up here and start giving us trouble for some reason. I don't know why they would, but you never know. They're Disney.
Yeah.
We love Disney.
I was just about to be like, so Brian, where are you doing this week? Well, I'm writing a Disney show called Puppy Dog Pals.
I was like, I had that exact thought. But we love him. We love him here, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, what do you have going on right now?
Yep. Well, as I said, Puppy Dog Pals season 3, I believe, is what's on the air. Is just each Friday, new episodes coming out, and we're writing season 4, and I'm still loving being in the bingo and rolly business.
There you go. As for me, I have latest episode of my Nostalgia Theater show. Speaking of James Mangold, my interview with him is here right now on Nostalgia Theater show. Turned out good.
Yep, it's very good.
Also, coming up on the Nostalgia Theater show is my interview with Mark Valley. He starred on the Fox series Human Target about 10 years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he starred on Boston Legal, and he was on Fringe, and looking forward to putting that conversation out there in the world. And also, if you go to the San Francisco Chronicle, you can see my piece that I wrote a couple weeks ago about the 1990s superhero retro movies that were in vogue. So like Dick Tracy and the Phantom and stuff like that,
Yep, which is I also read and really enjoyed.
Thank you. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. You can also find me on Instagram, etc., and just add a .com, and that's my website. If you're looking for us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. And please keep those comments coming. And if you like what we're doing, go to iTunes and leave a review. And with that, I will put a pin on episode 196 of the Movie Film Show on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall. My name is Zachy Hassan. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast.